back to another video with Arduino. Today, instead of the Arduino, we're going to be using the Raspberry Pi. And I know this might seem like a different video, but I assure you we will get back to the Arduino at some point. And if you guys have any cool project ideas, leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to get to them and try to make it for you. But today we're going to be focused on creating a website with the Raspberry Pi, and then in the next few videos and in this series we're going to look at how we can create projects with the Raspberry Pi and potentially put them with the Arduino. So with that, let's get into these websites. And it's also a good idea to know that these websites cannot be accessed on other devices, so this will be specific to the Arduino for this tutorial. It's more of a beginner one. And with that, let's get into the video. Okay, so here we have our Raspberry Pi fired up. If you need help with setting that up, you can check the video in the corner, as well as one of the previous videos for how to set up the Raspberry Pi. But essentially what we're going to be doing is setting up a website on the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so you can see here I have the command line opened up. You can see that in the top left corner, there's two kind of black boxes. And what you're going to do is select one of them and then type in the following commands. You can see me type it on screen right now, as well as I'll display the commands as a text overlay. And the results should be pretty similar to what you're seeing that I'm getting. Alright, so while this downloads, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Nginx. If you don't want to hear this, you can skip to the timestamp 322, but in the meantime, I'll just talk a little bit about it. So Nginx, it's an open source web server known for speed, efficiency, and its ability to handle high volumes of traffic. It's really helpful for event-driven architecture, which makes it much more efficient than a traditional web server like Apache. This is especially important when you're running a website on Raspberry Pi, since the hardware has limited processing power and memory. So Nginx is commonly used to serve static content, which is like a website like HTML, CSS, and images, but it's also capable of acting as a reverse proxy, which forwards requests to backend applications like Python's Flask or Node.js, and to manage dynamic content. So think like databases, that type of things with a backend. Additionally, it supports features like SSL, which is secure socket layer encryption, caching, URL writing, and these are very important for making sure your website is secure against attackers. On a Raspberry Pi, installing Nginx can make sure that your website or application is delivered quickly and reliable with multiple users accessing it at the same time. Really helpful for small scale projects if you want to create something in the future, like personal blogs, dashboards, home automation systems. So as you can see here, after we curled the local host, we are able to now see the file and its contents with the HTML tags, heading 1, paragraph 1, if you're familiar with HTML, with the HTML language. So now when we go to the web, we can actually visualize and see this website by opening our web browser. Alright, so you can see that little web icon at the top left corner, and though it may take a little while to open it, you can see my web browser as Firefox. And what you want to do is specifically go to this address. Please keep in mind that you cannot view this website on any other devices, only your Arduino and the device it's connected to. So if once you search up localhost, it should take you to the same web page, and we know that it's the same exact web page that we programmed, because if you look at one of the headings or one of the paragraphs, like take for example welcome to Nginx, it corresponds on our website. Great, so now we can view this template website from the Raspberry Pi, but what good is it if we can't modify it? So let's talk a little bit about the Raspberry Pi command line. So essentially, it's kind of like a control center. You can manage files, navigate directories, run programs. You may be familiar with your own personal computer's command line, but essentially the command we just typed in, ls, it allows you to say what you want to see in your folder. It lists all the files, the directories, and your current location. That's why when you press ls and after you do cd, you can see a list of options of files that you can go into. Now, what is cd? Essentially, cd is a command that allows you to enter in a file. It's called it stands for check directory, and allows you to move into files, move out of files, move back into the home, allowing you to kind of navigate your file system just in the comfort of your command line. So now while we wait for Vim to install, I'll talk a little bit about this as well. So Vim, it's a text editor. You can run it directly on the command line as we're doing right now. It's really popular amongst programmers, developers, and unlike the traditional text editor with graphical interfaces, Vim is unique because it is keyboard driven, as some call it, which essentially allows you to edit just in the confines of your own keyboard. It's often used for editing code, configuring files, any plain text. It's useful when you're working on a server or a Raspberry Pi where you can't access a graphical environment, especially as we're seeing with this one for website development. It's great for tasks like editing HTML, in this case, CSS, JavaScript, backend scripts, Python, and it's great for modifying server configuration files, which are critical for running these websites. And one of the reasons why Vim is so popular and advantageous for use is because it's very efficient. You can navigate, copy, paste, search with keyboard commands, and you don't need to touch the mouse, as it all happens within the command line. It has syntax highlighting, making code easier to read, split windows, allowing you to work on multiple files at once. It also is integrated very well with remote servers with tools like SSH, which is the security shell. You can open and edit files directly from your web server without transferring them um, back and forth. After we type this command, we're brought to the file contents, and here we can modify as we like. So after you enter in the following commands, it should bring you to this, I guess, editor with it, and you might not be able to edit immediately, but once you type in a few things, there should be the insert, I guess, indication at the bottom of your command line window. I'll circle it on screen right now, and then you can just play around with it. So that's what I'm doing right now, changing some of the headings and paragraphs. It's not going to update in real time, but after we run it, it should change accordingly. The alert command is something pretty cool you can experiment with, as well as any of these commands on screen. After you updated your file to your liking, we can exit our HTML file. We do this by pressing escape and then :X. It should exit the insert state, so it allows you to enter in :X at the bottom of your screen, of your window, and then doing so, once you refresh your web page, it should update properly. Okay, so after I'm in this file, I realized that I made a mistake. I don't really like the heading that I have right now. So what I'm gonna do is press the up arrow. It's gonna allow me to re-enter in the same command without me actually typing it. I'm gonna edit this file. You can just do for read only for now. And once you click a button to start editing, it should say the insert command. Then you can start editing as you see fit. And then, like the other one, you can press the exit button and the :X. So now you can see this edits properly and it updates on the website. So that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Today we learned how to make a website with the Raspberry Pi, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of these new Raspberry Pi videos, and with that, see you in the next video.